Welcome to the trail opening of the Aspen Meadows Loop Trail. This has been a long time coming, and it's all due to the hard work and dedication and passion of one person really, and that's Brett Hauser. He is truly passionate about these trails, and he has put in a lot of work and organized a lot of stuff to make this happen. So I'm going to turn the time over to Brett. A lot of people contributed to make this happen.
Yeah, and that's the first thing I want to do is recognize, because I mean, you know, maybe my job was kind of keep the ball rolling forward, but a lot of people came together to restore this trail. First of all, just a quick history of the trail, if you're not familiar with it. Back in the day, before I've been here over a dozen years, and before I got here, it was called the Scout Camp Loop, the full loop. So when we did our master trails plan for the town, we kind of rebranded it, renamed it. It was called, this portion was called Mosquito Lane. A lot of people would hike it, you know, from over by Town Hall, hike it through here, and then loop back on Burt's Road. Anyway, so then in our Trails Master Plan, we rebranded it Alpine Creek Loop, because that's what the development out here was going to be called at one point in time. Then when the new owners of the private land out here came in and renamed it Aspen Meadows, as we were in the process of restoring it, we decided, hey, Aspen Meadows sounds a lot better than like Mosquito Lane or anything. So we said so it's going to be called the Aspen Meadows Loop now. Let me run through and thank some people. Let's start with our National Forest crew. Who do I got? I got Kevin. Crew one man wrecking crew. Thanks, Kevin, for your help on the trail. Del Orm, I know he's not here, but I want to recognize him because he was very helpful in partnering with the town, and just the Forest Service worked very. They helped us track down the sort of people who could work on the trails, and we signed a mutual maintenance agreement to work on this trail together. Parowan Timber and Beam provided a beautiful new bridge. They provided some of the material for that bridge going across there, and it's kind of impressive. It's all custom beam material, so I wanted to thank them. And how many people here were at the volunteer day where we built that bridge? A handful of you guys. Great. Thank you guys. Momentum Trail, Matt is here from Momentum Trail, and they did quite a bit of the work, the machine work on this trail. It's a very long trail, pretty challenging terrain, especially post-fire. All the burned trees come down, and Matt literally is a one-man wrecking crew out there. I want to recognize his partner, Steve, who also did quite a bit of work on this trail, behind Moga, who did some work out here. So they've been terrific. So let's get into the funding. Bryan Head Town, you know, we're a small town. We get a little bit of property tax and sales tax, but we don't necessarily have money coming out of our ears. And this has been an expensive undertaking to reestablish this trail. Kind of got lucky in that right around the time of the Bryan Head fire, state of Utah put into place the Division of Outdoor Recreation. The Division of Outdoor Recreation is just, they're marvelous, and they provided hundreds of thousands of dollars in grant money for the reestablishment of this trail. The town was able to match some of that early on, and then I want to recognize Flint Decker. He represents Aspen Meadows, and they've put in private money to match the state money. We got a little bit of money from the Recreation Trails program, which I believe that's federal money originally, and I want to recognize our federal partners here. I got Jeff and Gary from Senator Lee and Senator Curtis' office. You can see it's been an intricate process to kind of bring all money together to reestablish this trail. That's how this came back to us. You know, we lost this beautiful trail in the fire, and it's back to us, and that right there is Trails Committee. So Sean Kelly was on the Planning Commission originally, then the Town Council, and he is our local trails buff, and he is the chair of our Trails Committee. And you know, he's put in a lot of legwork, has helped develop the vision, our broader trail system, and that's helped bring this about. Along with Sean, I've got Mike Samish is on the Trail Committee. David is on the Trails Committee. Flint is we are the Trails Committee and Friends, and Flint is the and Friends, and probably should just be on the committee. You're on the committee now. Jess Hancock, I don't think he's here, from the Forest Service, has helped out with that. Brian is our recreation trails for the town, and he's on that. So thanks to all of them.
Thank you, committee.
I want to tell you guys, look, normally I don't like doing the speeches. They make him do the speeches, but this trail is very near and dear to my heart. When I came when I came to Bryan Head 12 years ago, it was a rough time in my life. My family was still up north, and I was down here. It took us a stupid amount of time to sell our house up there. I was down here by myself. And on top of life being rough when you're alone, it kind of sucks, right? So one of the things I did to kind of provide some self-therapy was hike around a lot. And so I kept a backpack in the back of my truck, and I would leave after working all day at town hall. I would just put the backpack on, and I would hike 5 miles out to Hendrickson Lake, just camp overnight on like a Tuesday or whatever, right? And then I'd hike back in town the next morning. I want you guys to know, and I think a lot of people here probably have had that experience where some recreational feature is almost like a companion, almost like a friend. And that's what this trail was for me. I remember when the fire started in June 2017, and Danny's here. Danny raced over. He was here. He raced over and picked me up from my house and brought me up the mountain. We stood right over in the Navajo parking lot and watched the fire come racing up this draw. And honestly, one of my first thoughts was, "Oh no, there goes my friend," and it hurt. And it's still tough for me to go back out there, and it's getting beautiful. The aspen regrowth, anybody who goes out hiking here will see the aspen regrowth. It's really getting beautiful. And if you think fourth dimensionally, it's like, goodness gracious, it's gonna be quite a hike through these aspen groves in 10-15 years. It's gonna be beautiful. Today for me is a very important day because it feels like a friend has come back. That's just how I feel about it. Anyway, 2 quick stories because this was billed as Tales of the Trail. So one is one of these Tuesday nights or whatever that I went out there, I decided there was 2 spots to camp at Hendrickson. One's up in the meadow, and then one was down in this little hollow next to the lake. And it was a new moon night, so it was dark as anything. And I decided I would camp down this little hollow, and I put my fire out at the end of the night, and I turned around. My tent was probably from about me to Sean, and I was like, I could have gotten lost just trying to get to my tent. Like you could not see anything. And I managed to get into the tent, and I plopped down. I was probably 15-20 minutes. All of a sudden, something comes sauntering into my camp and just plops down right next to my tent. I don't know if it was a raccoon or a bear. I don't know, right? But when it's that dark and you're that alone, and it's like, oh my gosh, a raccoon would sound like a bear, and so all night long, every time I shifted, it shifted next to me, and it was the most sleepless night I ever had in my life. And in the morning, like just when the light started to come up, probably 5 in the morning or something, this thing must have looked over and saw a tent next to it and was like, what the? And it popped up and it took off. And I didn't know if it was still there or if I couldn't tell if it had left completely. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get out of this tent. And maybe I'm going to die, but at least I'll know what killed me. Like that's what's important to me. And so I popped out and it was gone. And I grabbed that tent and got the heck out of there as fast as I could. So I spent the night with some animal out there at Hendrickson Lake. That's one of my stories. The other one was a weird one. I was out with my oldest son. We went out, camped in Hendrickson Lake. We were coming back through on the top in the Aspen Meadows area at Long Meadow. The trail comes out into the meadow, and there was a bunch of elk out there. And it was a nice moment. We stopped, and I explained to my son, to give the animals some distance and this sort of thing. And we just stopped on the trail. They crossed up ahead of us. I mean, there's 20, 25 head of elk. And so they cross and they go up on this side of Long Meadow. There's a little hill. So they go up the hill. Most of them crested the hill. But 2 of them stopped about halfway up the hill. 2 cow elk stopped about halfway up the hill and turn around. They're looking right at us. And I'm just like, oh no, what are we into? And I thought, and they weren't going anywhere. So finally I told the kid, all right, let's just gingerly go down the trail here. We took 1 step forward, and those 2 cow elk beeline down the hill at us, just straight at us. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So I dropped pack, and I just decided to just get big and make noise. And so I do one of these, and those suckers slammed on the brakes, turn around, go right back up the hill the way they came. I grabbed the pack, she was going over, grabbed the kid, picked him up in the air, and we just booked down the trail. Because I'm thinking, I don't know. There's moms. I don't know where dad is. And so we're out of here. So there's a couple stories from the trail. Flint?
Just real quick, sir. We want to thank everyone. We want to thank Steve, of course, and our team, Matt, and everyone at your team. It's just been great doing the trail building. We've been working with them building the trails here in Aspen Meadows for 3 years. And our first day here was March 1 of 2021, and quickly we got to re-engage with Brett again, and And Brett and I both have just the memories of Charlie Weitzer. And he was the founder, for those of you that know, of Mountain Trails Foundation in Park City for 40 years. And so just like Brett has, like Clayton said, the absolute love for the trails, we share that.
So if you've not been to one of our trail openings before, we don't cut a ribbon. We symbolically cut a log off of the trail to reopen it, and the mayor is Ceremonial Sawyer.
All right, thank everybody for coming. Let's do this.
The trail is fantastic. There was some of us that did just a 5 mile and others doing a nice 10-mile loop. So if you like short hikes, long hikes, this one will accommodate you. And since this part is just an out and back, you can stop at whatever point you want. But it is gorgeous to see the new growth. The fires are devastating, but nature perseveres and comes back strong. So if you like adventures like this, hiking trails, grand opening of hiking trails after the devastation of the fire, it's awesome. So hit that like button. If not for me, for everyone involved getting this trail back up and running. And thanks for joining.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down.